I made a low carb homemade jerky in the air fryer, which doubles as a dehydrator or triples as a bunch of stuff. And it went over really well with my kids, myself included. And I really want to have I really want to make some healthy snacks that they can have that are not full of sugar and can supply them with a good amount of protein. So I'm going to hook up some more, and this is what I'm going to use. Now I bought 2 different thin cut steaks from Safeway. I believe it was Safeway on sale, and I got a really good deal. And I spoke with the butcher, and he said that they were both good for like carne asada or Philly steaks, as well as jerky. But I couldn't remember which one, and when I took it out the freezer, this is the one I chose, or I picked out of the freezer, so I just went with it. So I'm hoping that it's thin enough where it will come out to some really good jerky. And I am going to season it, which might seem weird before I put it in. I like to have some more pepper flavor in there, and I just want to make sure that it's seasoned all the way through. Also, I'm going to be adding water to the marinade, obviously, so I don't believe that it will be too salty. It's a great opportunity to use the ketchup. I believe I shared this before on the page. It's basically a no added sugar ketchup. It does not mean that it has like stevia or anything like that in it. It's just no sweetener at all. It's naturally sweetened with the veggies that they use. So I was really excited about this. So I'm going to use a little bit of this. Not too much, because it does have carbs, and let's see, there are 3 grams of carbs for 1 tablespoon. And I'll probably only use a tablespoon or 2 because I don't want a heavy tomatoey flavor in my jerky, and I'm just trying something new. I'm using this as a way to kind of sweeten it up for one of the jerkies, and one of them I'm going to make pretty spicy because I like mine extra spicy. So I'm going to let you guys see how much of each thing I use. And keep in mind, this is not necessarily a recipe. It's just I kind of play it by ear and taste things. And I only get really technical when it comes to baking because I feel like there's like lots of room for, interpretation with cooking. So let's get started. As I've mentioned before, I'm still getting into the hang of this, and I do apologize for disappearing for a while, you guys. Have a lot going on as far as my personal life and trying to, like I said many times on this page, level up, quotes. And so I've been working on some stuff to do with that. And so I have some garlic, I have some sriracha. I'm making 2 different flavors, hence why I have 2 different bags, and I have my measuring cup, which I don't feel the need to wash in between, but I will do 2 different batches of marinade. So I am going to marinate these in the refrigerator. They have the ketchup, I have the soy sauce. I might get some vinegar, rice wine vinegar as well. I like a Chinese influence flavor sometimes, but I'm not sure yet, so I'm gonna decide as I go along. There's the sriracha, and this is the chili garlic sauce. It has no added sugar. Sriracha does have a little bit of sugar added to it, so it's sriracha is basically the same thing as this one, I believe, just with the addition of sugar. So I'm still deciding if I'm going to use that. And then I have my monk fruit sweetener, which I have found to have very little aftertaste, at least in my opinion. And I'm usually really, really picky about my sweeteners. So I'm excited about this, you guys. If you haven't tried it, give it a try and see what you think. So to start, I have a tablespoon of my ketchup. To that, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. 2. So I am opting out of the sriracha since it does have the added sugar. I'm just gonna go ahead and opt out, and because of that, I'm gonna go ahead and add some minced garlic. This is a teaspoon. It might seem like a lot, but you want to get a nice amount of flavor in there. And I also will be adding another tablespoon of soy sauce. 2. Oh, that package wasn't very big, so I put most of it in this first bag, and then I have another bag with the other remainder of the package. And so that smaller amount is going to be the spicy one because I'm sharing with my kids, obviously. So I'm making more of the one that's going to be more like kind of like teriyaki. So I just want to update you guys on some of the other stuff. Like I said, I didn't want to put measurements because I kind of taste as I go. So what I did add was about a tablespoon of my sweetener that I told you guys about, as well as I added about another tablespoon of soy sauce, maybe a tad bit more, maybe a tablespoon and a tablespoon plus a teaspoon of the soy sauce, just to deepen the flavor, because I did add water to get it to about a cup. So with the tablespoons of soy sauce and the no sugar added ketchup and all that stuff added, plus the water, it comes out to about a cup. And we don't need very much. I used cold water. You want to use cold water because you don't want to boil your meat. And I'm going to go ahead and refrigerate it, and then I'll be putting it into the dehydrator and letting you guys see what it looks like. So I got that marinade in there, and I'm going to go ahead and put this in the refrigerator. Try to get the air out of the bag. And if I was going to keep it in there for days, then I might put the date on it. But because I'm just going to let it marinate for a while, some hours. Then I'm going to go ahead and just stick it in the fridge. And we're going to start with a tablespoon of soy sauce. And we're going to put more than one, but I'll just let you guys see the first tablespoon. So I think we're going to probably go with about 4 tablespoons. And I'm trying you guys with this whole measuring thing, but we'll see what other additions I make. So now I'm going to go in with a heaping teaspoon of the chili garlic sauce. And we're going to test it for spice because I don't want it to be so hot that I can't bear to eat it, but I do want it to be nice and spicy. And we're definitely going for savory with this one. That's why I started with the 4 tablespoons of soy sauce. And as I mentioned before, I did season the meat up a little bit because you will notice that when you dilute it with some of the water, the flavor will become much more mild. And so you do want it to be flavor packed. And so based on the taste of this, I'm going to decide if I want to add a little bit more garlic, probably about another half of a teaspoon, not a tablespoon, half of a teaspoon, just to kick up the garlic flavor because we want this to be very savory and spicy. I might offset it with just a little bit of my monk fruit sweetener, but I will let you guys know, and then I'm going to stick it in the fridge. All right, so I did go in with close to a teaspoon of garlic, and that was just to kick up the garlic flavor, as well as to offset and pair really well with this ginger. You guys can't really see it that well. It's not the greatest focus. It doesn't have the greatest focus, but it's close to a teaspoon or probably half a teaspoon of ginger. So I'm going to go ahead and add that and mix it in. And this is the ginger that I'm using. Spice World squeezed ginger. You can refrigerate it. I believe I got it from Costco, and I really like ginger. It has like a naturally kind of sweet flavor, but it does pair well with proteins. I first tried it, I think I talked about this before. I first tried it at Benihana's, and I love their food. I can't eat it all the time because not obviously, but my favorite thing there was the hibachi rice, which is delicious. If you guys haven't tried it and you do eat rice, give it a try. It's delicious. Now we are gonna go in with another teaspoon of our hot chili garlic sauce. And I am going to add a little vinegar. So I went ahead and grabbed close to a teaspoon of just crystal hot sauce, which is vinegar and aged cayenne red pepper, I believe. It's my favorite hot sauce, and I think it will just give a nice vinegar kick. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add a little cold water and put this stuff in the refrigerator. I went ahead and added some cold water, so now we're at about a cup, just like the other one. I want to keep the flavor pretty intense, so I don't want to add too much water, especially because we don't have so much meat. And I am going to go ahead and put these two together and put them in the fridge. I'm really excited about this. The water did make the flavor a lot milder, but not so mild that you can't taste the heat on the back of your throat when you taste the hot spiciness. So I'm really excited. And this is what my jerky looks like. So I am going to give it a taste and I'll let you guys know how it tastes. So here is my taste tester. Please let me know what you think. Tastes really good. I tasted it as well. It is really yummy, you guys. So this recipe is a thumbs up. Give it a try.